When I returned home from work, my wife told me she was going on a date. I wasn't happy about it, and when I expressed my disapproval, she said she would cancel it and we'd talk about it later. I was frustrated, tired of discussing it, and decided to leave. Now, I don't know if she went on the date or if she's just sitting at home, waiting for me to come back and talk. She looked at me, her jaw dropping. "What do you mean, date?" I was just as shocked as she was. "Believe me," she said. She told me she was going on a date with someone but didn't mention who. It seemed like she expected me to just say, "Okay, have fun." "Is this a joke? Are you sure you heard her right?" I asked, still confused. "I wish it were a joke," she replied. "The hell is going on at your house?" "I was with you on Wednesday, and everything seemed fine," I said. I had no idea this was happening. She reached for her phone and said, "I'll call her now." I overheard her conversation. "Where are you, Mom? Who are you with? What the hell? Mom, you just lied to me." She paused, then continued, "Dad's sitting right here. You lied to me. What's wrong with you?" She hung up abruptly, and we sat in silence. I didn't know what to say. Then, she hugged me, her body trembling. She buried her face in my chest and started sobbing. "She lied to me, Dad. She said she was with you at the restaurant, but she lied. I don't know what to think," she cried. "I don't think you misunderstood," I said, holding her tight, my own tears welling up. "I'm pretty sure she still went on that date. But honey, everything will be okay." She looked at me through tear-filled eyes. "Please don't cry, Beck. You're tearing my heart out. How can this be okay?" She sat down, still angry. "My own mother lied to me. She's on a date and tried to tell me otherwise. What are you going to do about it, Dad?" "I don't know," I admitted. "I'm just as lost as you are. I came here to be with you to try and figure this out. I didn't expect this." "It's not your fault," she said, grabbing a box of tissues to wipe her eyes. She blew her nose and then lay down beside Davy, who had been disturbed from his nap. A few minutes later, she came back to me and snuggled in again. "Davy always calms me down," she said. "You're better than Davy," I joked, trying to lighten the mood. She laughed. "He really stinks. But talk to me, Dad. What's going on between you and Mom? What are you going to do?" I sighed. "Honestly, I wish I knew the answers. I'm shocked." We sat in silence for a moment. Then Beck pulled out her phone and said, "We need to call Sylvia." "Hello, Sil. Where are you? We need you here now. This is serious." She paused before adding, "Okay. See you soon." Sylvia was at the club they both liked and would be there in 10 minutes, so we decided to wait. We ate popcorn, drank wine, and speculated about what might be happening. About 20 minutes later, Sylvia arrived, performed her usual ritual with Davy, and then sat beside Beck. She was always close to Beck, being 3 years older and sharing the same personality. "What's going on?" Sylvia asked, sensing the tension. "This must be serious." Beck looked at her. "Dad thinks Mom's on a date and lied to me about it." Sylvia looked at me, then at Beck. "Are you sure? Is there more to this? Did you two fight? Is there something going on between you and Mom?" I answered, "Yes, we fight sometimes, but not more than when you both lived at home. And no, we don't have any issues in bed that I know of." "Your mother hasn't said anything." Beck playfully hit me on the arm. "Yeah, no issues there." "Well, I need to talk to her," Sylvia said. "You need to talk to her, Beck. This isn't something we can ignore." "I need to talk to her, Dad. Why didn't you stay home and talk to her?" Beck asked. "Maybe I should have," I admitted. "I was just too angry." Beck hugged me. "I know, Dad, but Syl's right. We all need to talk to her and see what she thinks." When do you think you'll have the courage to talk to her without losing your composure? Beck asked. I don't know, I said. Hopefully soon. I don't think I can stand this much longer. I'm heading to the lake to try and relax, clear my head, and hopefully get some sleep. I'll figure it out by tomorrow. I'll go with you, Beck said. Let me pack Davy's bag and a blanket. She went toward her bedroom, then stopped. Dad, can I have a cigarette? She asked. Sylvia glanced at me, and I nodded. She rummaged through her bag, pulled out a case, and handed me one. I'd never been a heavy smoker, but every now and then, Collins and I would smoke mainly for the stress. I felt like I needed one now. Beck returned with Davy's things, dog food, bowls, and his bed. We walked to the car and Sylvia saw us off. We threw our stuff into the truck, spread a blanket on the back seat, and Beck said, I'll talk to Mom tomorrow. Let me know what happens, okay? And, Dad, don't do anything stupid. Maybe I'll be a little stupid, I replied with a small smile. But I'll try not to do anything too stupid. Sylvia hugged us. Davy jumped into the back seat, and we drove off. During the drive, Beck asked a million questions. Some I could answer, some I couldn't. We got to the lake house and took Davy for a walk by the shore. Beck held my hand, like she always had, and I was grateful that some things hadn't changed. Davy swam a bit while we threw sticks for him. He chased a few frogs and a squirrel before we turned back. It was getting dark by the time we returned, so we laid out our things. I checked the alcohol supply. Would you like a mojito? I asked. Yummy, Beck replied. I made 2 large mojitos, each with a generous shot of rum. Beck lit the fire, and we sat down to drink, talk, and relax. I lit a cigarette, feeling calmer than I had in days. What do you think, Dad? Beck asked. I have several options, I said. But it all depends on your mom. It's pretty confusing right now. I honestly don't know what she's thinking. She could tell me she's lost her mind and wants to give everything up, and that would leave us where we are, therapy. Beck laughed. You'd try therapy? I would, I said, smiling. But what if she's determined? She asked. Then probably in court, I replied. Surely she doesn't want that. How could she? I added. I have no idea, I said. Beck, you're the smart one here. You're about to become a psychologist. What makes someone do what she's doing? Beck thought for a moment. I don't really know. I mean, people cheat for all sorts of reasons: revenge, commitment issues, attraction to someone else, or maybe they're looking for something they're not getting from their primary partner. Could be a combination of things. But honestly, I don't think any of that applies to Mom. If that's the case, then she should have talked to me about whatever's bothering her. I said. I don't know what's going on. Beck nodded. I guess we'll find out. I'll talk to her tomorrow. Dad, you'll have to drive me back so I can get my car. I slept surprisingly well that night, just watching a video to keep my mind occupied until I fell asleep. I turned off my phone and drifted off. The next morning, I woke up early, got dressed, and took Davy for a walk. He rummaged around in the bushes for an hour, while I tried to clear my head. When we returned, Beck was just waking up. Do we have anything to eat, Dad? She asked. Actually, no. We should have stopped on the way here, I said. No big deal, she replied. You can take me to breakfast. I want French toast. Okay, I agreed. We left Davy at the house, as he liked to nap when he was bored, and went for a nice breakfast. We spent the time chatting about hypothetical situations and other light topics until we both grew tired of it. Then we talked about school, my work, Davy's latest antics, and how Beck's internship was going. Afterward, we packed up, picked up Davy, and I drove her back to her house. I returned to the lake, sat in a rocking chair on the back porch, and watched the boats on the water. Felt lonely. I missed Collins. I missed everything about her. And I even missed the small moments with Davy. I decided to go fishing, took out the boat, and fished near the cedars. I caught a few good ones and cleaned them. Then I found some fries in the freezer to go with them. When I remembered to turn my phone back on, I saw messages from both girls asking me to come to Beck. I headed over, my heart heavy. When I arrived, they were eating pizza, and Beck handed me a beer. We sat at the kitchen counter while they continued eating. Beck began. "You won't like this," she said. Sylvia added, "Me neither, but go on." "Mom feels unsatisfied," Beck explained. "Not with you specifically, but with life in general. She misses excitement and challenges. Some guy from the company she works for started pursuing her. She likes that men are paying attention to her, finding her attractive. She wants to go on dates, but it's not that she wants anything serious with them. She says she loves you more than ever, though." I sat there for a moment, processing what she said. Finally, I turned to Sylvia. "Is this the same for you?" "Almost," Sylvia replied. "Dad, I don't think it will last long. She'll come to her senses, and it'll pass." "Damn. Syl, do you seriously think this is normal?" Beck exclaimed. "I didn't say it was normal," Sylvia said defensively. "I just think it won't last. She'll get over it, and everything will go back to normal." I was stunned. "What do you suggest I do while she figures it out?" "Love her," Sylvia said. "Be patient. Let her calm down." "She loves you, Dad," Sylvia added. "She's just going through some kind of midlife crisis or something." "How about no?" Beck said. "Let her buy a sports car, get into bondage, have you tie her up and spank her, start racing motorcycles. Those are midlife issues, not dating other men." "What are you suggesting, then? Divorce her? Lock her up?" Sylvia asked. "I don't know," I said. "Divorce might be one of the options." "No, that's not an option," Sylvia insisted. "God, Dad, don't overreact. You were made for each other, and you both know it. Shouldn't you tell Mom that?" Beck asked. "I shouldn't," I said. "Should you tell her not to go crazy over this? This is nonsense." Sylvia cut in. "You're protecting her. But Dad, you didn't do anything. Absolutely nothing." "I'm not defending either side," Sylvia retorted. "Well, that's part of the problem, isn't it?" Beck's voice rose. "You should have picked a side instead of talking about patience." "Patience? She went on a date with some creep." "Sylvia, you know he's a creep. If he weren't, he wouldn't be harassing a married woman. And Mom's a fool for letting him." "Hey, let's calm down," I said, trying to intervene. But they didn't listen. Beck shot back. "What do you want me to do? Do you want our parents to get a divorce? Is that what you're saying?" "It's not about what I want," Beck replied, her voice shaking. "It's not about what you want either. It's about what Daddy wants. Don't forget, Sylvia, Daddy didn't want any of this. Mommy wanted it. And now it's her responsibility to fix it. I'm telling you right now," Beck continued. "She can have what she wants, but until she comes to her senses, she has to plan our relationship the way I want." "And what will that be?" Sylvia asked. "I want to see her as little as possible," I said. "And I don't want to hear from her at all." "So, you're going to break things off with Mom?" Sylvia asked. "I'm not tearing anything up," I said. "And that's your problem. You don't see it. Everything that's happened since last night, it's all on Mom. She's the one pulling the strings. And if you can't see that, then you probably have the same problem as her." Before I could say more, Sylvia grabbed her bag and stormed out of the house. I tried to pull Beck toward me, but she pushed me away. We both watched through the window as Sylvia got into her car. The headlights flashed on and off before she drove off. "I'm so mad at her right now," Beck said, fuming. "Sorry, Dad, but that was nonsense," she added, pressing herself against me. I sighed, letting the tension ease for a moment. "Yes, it happened," I said softly, "but it's not Sylvia's fault. Beck, this is your mother's doing. She shouldn't have put us in this position. I know you're both grown women," I continued, "but we've always had a special family dynamic. Our lives revolved around each other. I'm closer to you girls than any father could ever be. You've always had a good relationship with your mom, and neither of you should be caught in the middle of this." Beck looked up at me. "It's not your fault, Dad. It's Mom's fault, but the way Sylvia's acting, like it's no big deal and we should just be patient, is too much," Beck said, her frustration clear. "Just don't burn any bridges," I advised. "Let me talk to her. I'll try to figure something out. I love you so much, Beck. I don't want you to suffer any more than you already have." She hugged me tightly. "I trust you, Dad. I'll just wait and see what happens. Keep me close. Okay?" "Always," I assured her. It was time to face the lion. I couldn't put it off any longer. I couldn't keep living in limbo. When I arrived at the garage, her car was there. I sat for a moment, searching for peace within myself, then sighed and walked inside. My stomach was in knots, so I grabbed a glass of milk to settle it. Collins was in her office and came out when she heard me. She looked just as bad as I probably did. "Hi," I said. "I'm glad you're okay and back," she replied, studying me carefully. "Collins, I'm a long way from being okay," I told her. She paused, looking thoughtful. "I meant that you're safe. Do you want to talk?" I nodded. "Sure." We moved into the living room. "Maybe it'll be more convenient in here," she said, pouring herself some juice while I grabbed a box of wheat thins. We sat on the couch about a foot apart, which was unusual. She usually liked to cuddle up to me. I realized I was probably giving off hostile vibes, and honestly, I felt hostility. "I want to apologize to you, Barnes," she said quietly. "I understand that this is your mother's fault. Children shouldn't be put in this position. I know you're both grown women," I replied, "but we've always had a special family dynamic. Our lives revolved around each other. I'm closer to you girls than any father I know. You've always had a good relationship with your mother, and you shouldn't be caught in the middle of this nonsense. And I'm sorry you are." "It's not your fault, Dad," she said gently. "You're right, it's Mom's. But the fact that Sylvia is acting like it's no big deal and we should just be patient. Just don't burn any bridges," I repeated. "I'll talk to her. We'll figure something out. I love you more than you know, and I don't want you to hurt any more than you already are." She hugged me tightly again. "I trust you, Dad. Just let me know how it goes, and I'll wait for you. Keep me close. Okay?" "Always," I assured her. Now it was time to face the truth with Collins. I couldn't keep putting it off. Her car was in the driveway when I arrived. I took a deep breath and walked in. As I entered, my stomach churned again, and I grabbed some milk to calm it. Collins was in her office, and she came out when she heard me. She looked as tired as I felt. "Hi," I said, trying to keep my tone steady. "I'm glad you're safe and back," she replied, her eyes searching mine. "I'm far from okay, Collins," I said, my voice tight. She looked thoughtful, then said softly, "I meant I'm glad you're safe. Do you want to talk?" I nodded. "Yes." We sat down in the living room, a foot of space between us, an uncomfortable gap. I could feel the hostility radiating from me, but it felt impossible to hide it. "I owe you an apology, Barnes," she said quietly. "I understand this whole mess is my fault. You and the girls shouldn't be caught in the middle of this. I get that it's your fault, Collins, I said, trying to stay calm. But this doesn't change what happened, and I can't just ignore how it all feels. You should have never put the girls in this position. She sighed, running her hand through her hair. I know, but I thought I could handle it differently. I didn't expect everything to go the way it did. If you think the device, whatever you're referring to, is the problem here, we're wasting our time, I said. She looked confused. I don't understand. Let me make it clear, I continued. There's no way to explain this situation without acknowledging the fact that you went on a date. There's no sugarcoating that. Do you understand? I understand what you mean, she said, but there was a hint of defensiveness in her tone. But you don't understand what I meant. I was trying to explain my actions, make it acceptable for you. Make it acceptable? I asked incredulously. You'd need to be a wizard to make this acceptable. Maybe not magic, but almost. She smiled faintly. Mrs. Lafery, huh? I laughed, trying to lighten the mood. Collins chuckled. Not quite, but close. Just think about it, Barnes, she said, her tone shifting. How old are we now? You're 48. I'm 49. I know. We're ancient, I said, laughing despite myself. And yet, I feel better than I ever have. I feel 25 physically at least. Mentally, emotionally? She asked, raising an eyebrow. Remember when we were actually 25? I asked, a sudden wave of nostalgia hitting me. She smiled softly. I remember feeling alive, full of life, like there were endless possibilities, like we could achieve anything. Everything sparkled. Love was a new discovery every day. I remember that too, I said, my voice quieter. And now, she sighed. Now I know every move you make. We're stuck in this routine. Life's become predictable. On Sundays, we can either go to church or sleep in, make love, and spend the day cooking dinner. You can watch football or we can pick a movie. These are all things we've done 1,000 times, she said. You're right about that, I replied. Then Monday comes and we get up, go to work, and do it all over again. Days blur into weeks, weeks into years, and years into decades. It feels like we're just going through the motions. I understand all of that, I said. But I think the difference is that I like doing those things with you. I want to do them 1,000 more times. That's why we keep doing them, because we like them. If we didn't enjoy them, we'd do something different. That's exactly my point, she said. I love doing what we do too, but I want to add new things. I want to bring back some of the excitement, the unexpectedness. I want to keep growing, exploring new areas of life. I understand. What makes you think I don't want to try new things? I asked. I'd love to do that too. Obviously, you don't think we can do anything new together. We can, she said. I told you I was going on a date. When I get home, I'll tell you everything, share my impressions. You could do the same. I felt the tension grow. Collins, I think your idea of together and mine are very different. She frowned. What do you mean? Let me make it as clear as possible, I said. When I say together, I mean you and me. The moment you bring someone else into it, it no longer qualifies as together. She paused, thinking. When was the last time you spent time alone with a woman other than me? Well, if you mean besides the girls or other family members, that was 6 months ago. Do you remember when I went to Kansas City with Amber? We met with people from the telecommunications company. She nodded. I know Amber quite well. Tell me, Barnes, is there any tension between you two? Any sort of intimacy? No, I said. Not at all. Amber's beautiful, you know that. But I'm married, and I'm 10 years older than her. We don't flirt, if that's what you mean. We have a good working relationship. We're friends, and I'm not trying to be anything more. You said it yourself, she said. She's beautiful and she's single. What if you took her out to dinner, then went out to a club, danced together? Wouldn't that be exciting? Holding all that beauty in your arms? Wouldn't that cheer you up? Maybe that's why I don't do it, I replied. Why? She challenged. Because I'm married to you, I said firmly. I don't put myself in situations where my desires could be directed at anyone other than you. What if I agreed to it? She asked. It doesn't matter, I replied. I wouldn't agree to that. She sighed. I would agree. Maybe 10 years ago I would have been against it, but now I'm more mature. I'd be okay with it, and I feel like you'd have to be okay with me doing the same thing. That's the stumbling block, I told her. I don't agree. This isn't what I signed up for, Collins. You promised me. You promised me, she interrupted. If you want to get out of this, that's fine, I said. But it's not normal. But if you've made up your mind, I can't stop you. I only control myself. I don't want to go out, she said quietly. I just want to be freer, more spontaneous. I want to see adventures, go on them, but not quit. Are you going to do this despite how I feel? I asked. She sighed again. I don't know, Barnes. I'm inclined to say yes. The fact that you've thought about it, that you have it all figured out in your head, and you can talk about it so fluently tells me a lot. You haven't communicated with me, I said, my voice rising. You've been hiding this from me for a while now. What else are you hiding? And what about your little trick on Friday night? I added, bitterness creeping into my voice. I'm sorry, she said, looking down. I shouldn't have done that. I was mad at you for leaving when I wanted to talk. Collins, that's a lie, I snapped. You planned this long before Friday. You were ready to go before you even mentioned it to me. And speaking of lying, you lied to Beck too. Looks like you're really good at it. I felt the anger boiling inside. I told you I'd cancel everything so we could talk. But you dodged that, didn't you? I'm tired of talking, Collins. You had your chance to make it right. My position hasn't changed. It's not about finding the right way to tell me. There is no right way. It's about the fact that you did it. You planned it and you want to do it again. That's what matters. She was silent for a moment, and I stood up, grabbing my things. I control myself, I said, my voice steady. I'm packing my things and leaving. I won't live in this lie anymore. Barnes, that's not what I want, she protested, her voice desperate. It doesn't matter what you want, I said. You've already told me. You think I'm boring. You want excitement, color, adventure. Even if you never actually do anything, I'll always know. You feel that way, and there's no convincing me you won't regret being stuck in a boring life, I said. We want different things, Collins. So, let's move on. I went to the basement, grabbed my suitcases, and started packing. I only took what I needed for a week. The rest could come later. She followed me, trying to convince me that we would work it out, but I didn't listen. I packed everything into the truck, and as I walked around to get in, she tried to approach the car. Thankfully, the door was locked. She stood in the driveway, watching as I drove away. It was a painful sight. I loved her, and it felt like I had lost half of my heart and soul. I just didn't see a way forward. I stopped at the grocery store, trying to distract myself. It worked for a while, keeping my thoughts from spiraling. But as I drove to the lake, everything came rushing back. I turned on a podcast, but by the time I arrived, I couldn't remember what it was about. I unloaded my things and put them away, feeling the fog settle over me. I should call the girls, I thought, but I didn't have the strength. I sat there for about an hour when my phone rang. I checked and saw it was Sylvia. I had to answer. Hi, honey, I said. Where are you? she asked. I'm at the lake, I replied. Where are you? I'm at your house, she said. Mom called me and asked me to come. Just then, I saw a call notification from Beck. Wait a minute, Beck is calling, I said. I answered quickly, telling her I would call back in a moment, that I was talking to Sylvia. She agreed, and I returned to the conversation with Sylvia. She's in terrible shape, Dad, Sylvia said. You should have been here, not me. I understand that, I said quietly. This is a tough conversation. Are you sure you want to talk about this over the phone? She fell silent for a moment. No, probably not. Will you come back? No, honey, I'm not coming back, I said. I'll explain everything when I see you. It's not good, but it's apparently happening, she said. Dad, I have work. I can't stay here long. I'll stay tonight, but I have a lot to do tomorrow. Mom works too. It's not on you, Sylvia, I said. Do what you need to do. Your mother and I are adults. She sighed, clearly upset. I'm so sorry, Dad. I know this is hard for you. I love you, Sylvia, I said, my voice softening. You're my first daughter, and you'll always be special to me. I love you too, Dad, she said in a choked voice. Goodbye. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself, and called Beck. Hi, dear. Are you okay? I asked. I will be, she replied. And how are you? I'm guessing you're at the lake, she asked, and I confirmed. Do you want me to come? Yes, I said, feeling relief. My things are already packed. All my classes this week are online, but I have work on Wednesday and Thursday. Can I spend the week with you? You don't need to ask, I replied. I'll spend every second I can with you. I'll be there in an hour or so, she said. I'll cook dinner. As I was setting up the food on the bar, I heard the sliding door open and the familiar sound of Davy's claws tapping on the floor. He followed the smell of the food and nudged my leg, looking up at me. I stopped what I was doing and gave him the love he needed, cutting a piece of fat from the cutlets for him. Just as I was washing my hands, Beck hugged me from behind. I dried my hands and hugged her back. Smells amazing, she said, smiling. No, Davy. She grabbed some tissues and wiped the drool from Davy's mouth. He laid down behind the bar stools, content, while we began eating. It was quite hasty, she said, glancing at me. I guess it didn't go over well. No, I agreed. She offered a lot of explanations, but ultimately, she's bored and wants her childhood back. Beck rolled her eyes. Great. Tell me, I said. If you were to meet your mother as a client, what would you say is going on with her? I would never date her or anyone I have a personal relationship with as a client, she replied. But if someone I didn't know came to me with her story, I'd say they were feeling depressed about their own adolescence. No such thing as a midlife crisis? I asked, half joking. It's not a diagnosis, she said. It's a transition period. Some people start to see their mortality and realize they have a limited number of years at their peak. It can make them feel depressed, and they start doing stupid things to keep up the illusion that they're immortal. Wow, I said, genuinely impressed. Who would have thought? My daughter is so smart. Yes, I'm smart and don't forget it, Sylvia said, half joking. Do you think she needs to see a therapist? I do, I replied, and I'll tell her that, but I won't interfere. I understand, I said. It's a shame you got so involved. I'm really sorry about that. It's not your fault, she reassured me. I know it's hard for you because of me. It's hard for me too, because of you. But we'll get through this, right? Yes, I answered. We have no other choice. Sylvia came over Tuesday night. Beck made potato salad and I fried burgers. We sat on the veranda eating and talking. Dad, Mom is terrified, Sylvia said. Yeah, me too, I admitted. What are you going to do? She asked. She wants you back, Sylvia continued. She promised to forget all of this. She sees the damage she's done, and she's sorry. I'm sure she's sorry, in a way, I said, my voice filled with doubt. What do you mean? Sylvia asked, her brows furrowing. In a sense, it's hard to explain, I said, taking a deep breath. But I'll try. I want to hear it too, Beck added. I'll need a minute, I said. May I bring you something to drink? What do we have? Sylvia asked. I have everything for Palomas, I replied. Delicious, Beck said. I want one. Me too, Sylvia said. I gathered my thoughts as I prepared the drinks. We got comfortable and I was as ready as I could be. Sylvia, are you still dating that guy? What's his name again? Wait, weed, Beck interjected. Sylvia laughed. No, I realized he really was a weed. I have a new boyfriend. I met him here a month ago. His name's Richard. Oh God, Dick. Beck and I burst out laughing. Sylvia shook her head, grinning. Yes, Richard. But imagine if Richard told you that you were boring. How would you feel? Not very good, she replied. But I'm not boring. No, you're not, I said. But let's say Richard thinks you are. Can you argue with how he feels? I don't quite understand, she said, looking confused. Well, Beck, I continued. You don't like raisins and Sylvia doesn't like coconut, right? That's how you feel. Would you feel differently if I told you that you actually liked them? No, Beck said, shaking her head. I get your point. Did Mom really tell you that you were boring in those exact words? I asked. No, I can't quote her exactly, Beck said, her voice quiet. But she said a lot of things. We adults, Sylvia added. I hate to shock you, but I'm swearing a little. What's your favorite word? Beck cracked up. Probably damn, she laughed. That's enough, you two, I admonished them, which only caused another round of laughter. She asked me if I remembered what we were like when we were 25. I said, getting back to the serious conversation. She used all these colorful words about how exciting our lives were, how everything felt new and bright. She feels like we're stuck in a rut, doing the same things over and over again, and she wants to bring back that excitement. Do you feel the same, Dad? Probably a little, I admitted. I know I'm not 25 anymore, but I like the things we do. If I didn't, we'd be doing something different. I don't see anything wrong with it. Well, she sees it differently, Sylvia said. What did she say? I told her she wants to do other things, I replied. But the problem is, she doesn't want to do them with me. She wants to do them with other men. She likes to be courted, to feel wanted by men. So she's going to go on dates. And if everything works out, have intimacy with them. Beck stared at me wide-eyed. Oh my God, she said. How am I supposed to deal with this? I asked myself the same thing, I said quietly. Can I tell her she's wrong? She feels what she feels, and you can't argue with that. She's missing all this excitement and vitality, and no will change it. Did you suggest something you could do together to bring back that excitement without involving others? Sylvia asked. Honey, I said, think about it. Do you really think she had this idea on Friday? That she had an epiphany and went on a date with someone that same day? No, Sylvia said, shaking her head. She's been thinking about it for a long time, I said. Did she say anything to me? Not a word. Did she give me a chance to plan something exciting? No. She wanted her excitement with someone else, and if I try to stop her, she'll just be angry with me for it. Do you understand? I understand, Beck said. Me too, added Sylvia. Dad, if she saw a therapist, got counseling, and changed her mind, do you think you could fix this? Sylvia asked. I shook my head. She thought she could bypass me. She just announced she was going on a date, and I had to live with it. Do you understand how disrespectful that is? Sylvia seemed to sag in her chair. Yes, I understand, Dad. I'm sorry. What if she had sincere regret? Do you think she is like that? I asked. She said she was sorry for the mismanaged situation, Sylvia replied, her voice soft. But not for doing it. I'll talk to her, Sylvia said. Beck, will you help me? Sylvia asked. If I can convince her, will you help her find a good therapist? I'll help, Beck said. If she asks for help, I will. But I won't interfere unless she asks me herself. She should want it. Sylvia left that night visibly unhappy. I was sorry to see it, but she hugged us both and told us she loved us. She promised she'd visit more often. As the weeks passed, Beck maintained a somewhat frosty relationship with Collins, rarely mentioning her. I received regular, detailed reports from Sylvia. Collins rejected the idea of therapy, though she said she was open to couples counseling. I asked Beck what she thought, and she felt it was pointless. She believed that unless the root cause of Collins's dissatisfaction was addressed, any therapy would only help her mask her feelings or try to reconcile me with what she wanted. Are you ready for this? Beck asked one evening. No, I'm not interested in other women, I replied, and certainly not interested in sharing her with other men. Sylvia, who had been quietly listening, asked an interesting question. Are you sure, Dad? What if you just viewed it as a short vacation from marriage? You could meet some attractive women for a while. Once Mom realizes she's wrong, you could go back to your normal life. Can I? I asked. What if, in 2 years, 5 years, or 10, she gets bored again? Besides, I don't know any attractive women I could be friends with, even if I wanted to, which I don't. You don't see any attractive girls waiting outside? Beck teased. I chuckled. Should I go check? They both laughed. Unless you work with them, or they're burglars breaking into the house. You won't meet anyone, Beck said, still laughing. Sylvia smiled. You're a very handsome guy for your age, Dad. I'm not interested in that, I said firmly. No, Sylvia, I just can't. I don't have it in me. Are you disappointed? She asked quietly. In a way, yes, she said. I don't like that you and Mom aren't together. On the other hand, I respect you. You know yourself, you have moral principles about this, and you stick to them. I respect you for that. After 2 months with no visible changes, I couldn't stand it anymore. I filed for divorce. This immediately prompted a phone call. This has gone too far, Barnes, Collins said, her voice tight with emotion. Are you divorcing me? You have no reason to. I don't need to tell the judge anything, I replied. This is a no-fault divorce. What will you tell other people? She asked. We quarreled, and you divorced me, I said flatly. I won't tell them anything. It's none of their business. I'll come, she said. We need to talk about this before it's too late. Do you want me to cook dinner on Friday night? She asked, her voice softer now. Yes, that would be wonderful, I said, my emotions still raw. I was finishing up cooking dinner when I heard the door open. I was a little annoyed that she just walked in. Sure, we both owned the lake house, but I didn't go back to the city house and simply didn't visit when she was there. I went to get my things while she was at work. That was it. She looked as good as ever. Despite everything, she still knew how to make my heart beat a little faster, even though I was weary of her. She threw her purse on a chair and walked toward me. She wanted a hug, which quickly turned into a desire for a kiss. I could hug her, but a kiss, under the circumstances, was beyond me. She looked offended, but so be it. I was offended too, and I had my reasons. "Can I help?" she asked, her voice soft. "Everything's ready," I said, trying to keep my composure. "You can set the table while I bring out the dishes." We laid out the food, poured the wine, and she started talking. "I don't want a divorce, Barnes," she said, her voice filled with frustration. "That's what I don't understand," I said. "Why?" "Because I love you," she said. "I want to spend my whole life with you." "But why?" I asked again. "You were married to me almost your entire adult life, and it didn't give you satisfaction." "I never said I was unsatisfied," she replied quickly. "Maybe not in those exact words," I said, my frustration growing. "But you've made it clear that you're missing something." "Then you misunderstood me," she said. "I'm quite happy. I just wanted to add satisfaction for both of us." "Okay," I said, trying to stay calm. "But what you wanted to add was connections with other men. That makes me very unsatisfied." She seemed to falter, but then responded, "The answer seems simple to me. We're getting a divorce," I said bluntly. "You can sleep with whoever you want, as much as you want, and I won't feel unsatisfied. But I won't be married to you while you're doing it. You can continue and I will continue with my life. Maybe I'll find someone who doesn't want to sleep with other men." She shook her head. "This is a pretty rough deal." "Yeah," I said. "The difference is that I won't be married to you while you do it. You get what you want, and I get what I want." "This isn't what I want," she said, her voice shaking with emotion. "Why should there be a choice between you and casual dates with other men?" "If it's a choice, I want to be married to you," she said. "I understand that," I said. "But the problem is that I don't want to be married to a woman who wants to sleep with other men, whether she actually does it or not. Even though I love you, I give up on this idea and choose you," Collins said. "Don't you want to be married to me?" she asked. "Yes, Collins. That's it," I replied, my voice quiet. "Look at me, Barnes," she said. I did, and the next thing I knew, she kissed me. But my lack of response became obvious, and she stopped. "What's wrong?" she asked, confused. "Collins, were you dating someone?" I asked, already knowing the answer. I could see the doubt in her eyes. Apparently, she had decided to be honest with me. "Yes," she said, pausing, then nodding. "2 of them. That's what's wrong," I told her. "God, Barnes, before we met, I slept with half a dozen guys," she said, her voice almost apologetic. "You were with other girls too," I replied. "But the key words here are before we met. I've never slept with anyone other than you since we got married. I didn't even do anything inappropriate. You can't say the same thing anymore." "Then sleep with other women," she said, her tone more resigned than challenging. "I told you you're free to do that. Take a walk. Come back. Tell me about it. Be with me afterward. It'll turn me on. I know you want this." "I don't want to," I said firmly. "Are you going to meet someone?" she asked. "Perhaps eventually," I said, feeling the weight of it all. "But I like being married, Collins. I don't find it boring." She sighed deeply. "Could I be one of the women you date?" she asked, her voice tinged with both sadness and hope. "Perhaps," I said, hesitating. "But I doubt it. I don't feel the same about you anymore. Maybe I can stop being angry about the way you treated me. Maybe I won't think about the other guys you're with. But if I were you, I wouldn't hold my breath." She stood up, angry and sad at the same time, and walked over to pick up her purse. "Let me know when you change your mind," she said, before turning and leaving. The divorce process moved forward, and Collins's lawyer requested counseling with the judge. This was unexpected, and the judge explained that he was legally required to schedule counseling if one of the parties requested it. "I'm not doing this," I told my lawyer. This isn't the judge's business, and it's certainly not the state's business. You're an expert. I can't stop you, he said. But that's what the law says. I fell silent for a moment. What if we call you back for the divorce suit? Will he still be able to schedule counseling then? My lawyer looked stunned. No, I don't think he can. Is that what you want to do? He asked. Yes, I said firmly. This seemed to stun everyone present. Collins had a smug look on her face, but after the case was dismissed, I approached her. The reason I dropped the lawsuit is because I'm not going to force anything, I told her. Until you give up your nonsense, this is the last time I will talk to you. Don't call, don't write, don't send telegrams. I'll never talk to you again. Her jaw dropped. She opened her mouth to say something, but I just walked away. She tried to contact me for 2 months using clever tricks like sending messages through Sylvia trying to meet. Beck's relationship with her mother deteriorated to the point where they no longer even spoke, which caused some tension between Beck and Sylvia. Collins tried to come to the lake house 3 times, but I changed the locks and kept all the doors shut. I just ignored her. She even came to my work one day, and I had to throw her out. After 2 months, she gave up and told Sylvia that she would no longer ask for counseling. If I wanted to file for divorce, we could proceed. We went before the same judge, and the divorce went through without opposition. I saw that Collins wasn't happy, but everything was settled between us, and he could not order anything further. She kept the house in the city, and I kept the house by the lake. This was exactly what I wanted. The distribution of assets was fair. She kept her business, and I kept mine. No alimony was assigned, and everyone kept their pension savings. It was the usual business of divorce, boring, tedious, and annoying. I started selling my business, which didn't take long, and then my retirement began. I fished, learned to water ski, and spent most of the summer on the boat with the girls. By October, when it got cooler, I was ready for something new. I applied for a visa to become a resident of Mexico. I could stay for 180 days as a tourist, and I thought that during this time, I'd figure out what I wanted to do next. I winterized the house, traded in my Chevy for a diesel-powered F-350, bought an Eagle Cap luxury camper, hitched up the boat and headed south. Lake Bala and Qley, Mexico, would be my new home for the next 180 days. Both girls were a little unhappy with my decision, but they would get used to it. After I bought them both open-air tickets to Guadalajara, promising them all the beach time they wanted, they became a little more supportive. During my first week in Mexico, I found a 5-acre lot about a mile from the lake. I bought it, got the utilities installed, and by the end of the month I was officially a local. The second time I fished the lake, I caught a 14-pound bigmouth bass, and I was hooked on fishing. In January, Sylvia arrived, and I met her at the airport. We went to Puerto Vallarta, where I gave her a choice. Stay with me on the beach or stay at a hotel. She chose a hotel, and it was a great place with full service. We had a wonderful time. She stayed for a week, and on the last day, as we sat on loungers looking out at the ocean, she asked, "You're not going to come back, are you?" "I haven't decided for sure yet," I told her, "but I'm inclined to stay. The only thing that could make me come back is you girls, and I'll send a plane for you anytime. I'll also come back several times a year to see you." "What about Mom?" she asked, her brow furrowing. I frowned. "Is she all right?" "Probably," Sylvia said. "She mostly works now. I know she regrets everything." "How do you know?" I asked. "Well, she didn't say it outright, but she seems, I don't know, depressed. She's not the energetic, cheerful person she used to be. I think she's sad. I don't think she enjoyed single life as much as she thought she would." "Sorry to hear that," I said. "But if you don't mind, Sylvia, I'd rather not talk about her anymore." She smiled a sad smile and took my hand. "Understand," she said. We shook off the bad vibes and had a blast that night. I drove her back to the airport, and after many hugs and a few tears, she flew off, promising to be back soon. Beck arrived in February, and things went pretty much the same as before, except this time she wanted to stay in the camper with me. We spent 3 days on the beach, and on the afternoon of the third day, she asked, "Where do you really live, Dad?" I answered her, and she wanted to go there. We folded up the camper and hit the road. The drive was long, but we had a great trip. When we arrived, she saw the view of the lake, the 2 barns I had built, and the lot, and she loved it all. "I can't believe you have such a beautiful place. A cute little truck house. And you actually live here," she said. "I'm lucky," I said. "The only thing that would be better is if you lived here." She looked at me thoughtfully. "I can't imagine how I would make a living. I'd like to use my degree." "Do you know what my degree is?" "I'm sure you told me, but I don't remember," I said. "I just know that you have it." "It's agricultural business," she said. I laughed. "Agriculture? What do machines have to do with this?" "Well," she said, "I started working on machines because I worked at a farm equipment dealership. Harvesters kept coming in with these broken pins, and I got the idea to start making stronger pins. It just went from there." "I didn't know," I said, impressed. "Well, what I'm saying is that there are ways to use your degree," she said. "Explain this," I said, curious. "Are you a psychologist?" she asked. "What do you mainly do?" "I listen to people's problems," I said. "Bartenders do a lot of the same things," she said, laughing. "Yes, that's probably true," I agreed with a chuckle. She spent 2 weeks with me and then returned home. I really missed her for several weeks, but then I returned to my usual routine. 6 months later, she called me. "I need a favor," she said. "If I can, I'll help," I replied. "Are we talking about a big loan or just a lack of money?" "A big loan," she said. "Can I ask what you need it for?" I asked, my curiosity piqued. "You don't trust me?" she asked, a little defensively. "No, I trust you," I said. "I'll give you as much as you need." I was just joking. "I want to buy a hotel," she said. "Okay, that sounds interesting," I replied. "Is this a working hotel? Does it generate income? Can I check it out online or something?" "I could," she said. "I was hoping you'd go there." "Where? How far is it?" I asked, confused. "About 10 miles, she said. "It's on Lake Bala." "Is it true? Or are you teasing me again?" "No," she said. "I've studied their reports with an accountant. They make good money. They have a bar so I could listen to people's problems." She laughed out loud and I joined in. "Oh my God, darling. It would be like a dream come true for me. How much do you need?" She quoted a staggering amount. "God, Beck, you're aiming for big game, huh?" I said, incredulously. "Maybe," she said. "Will this leave you without funds?" "Only if you don't pay me back," I said. "I'll make a repayment plan," she replied. "It should be short-term. Once I become a business owner and can show I'm profitable, I'll receive bank financing. I kind of have no credit history." "I understand," I said, my excitement for her growing. "This is so great, Beck. I can't believe you're doing this. It'll be great to have you here. I'll take a look and tell you what I think," I said. "But you should come and see for yourself, too." She arrived 3 weeks later and we toured the place. It was aimed at fishermen, mainly from the USA, and it was a dream come true for her. In my opinion, it was a very good investment. 6 months later, my daughter became the owner of the business, and she ran it well. Everything was going great, and Davy became a local celebrity. He was constantly pampered and was in seventh heaven. Beck and I spent a lot of time together, and I would often go to the bar. Sometimes, Beck would stand behind the bar, and it was fun to watch her use her psychological skills. She ran a first-class restaurant, and the locals often dined there. It was always full. But she had a table in the kitchen, and they always found a seat for me. On a Friday night, I was in the kitchen when the head chef asked me if I minded if he seated another guest at my table. I wasn't thrilled, but what could I do? Of course, I said. He left, and when he returned, there was a woman with him. I gasped. God, she was amazing. She was dressed elegantly in a yellow dress that showed off her dark skin. The dress was off the shoulder and went down to her knees, but had a slit on one side. As she walked, a delicious brown leg was visible. Her hair was thick and black, streaked with chestnut brown. Her forehead was high and wide, and her dark eyes seemed almost black. She had high cheekbones, full plump lips, and a small pointed chin that gave her face a heart shape. The chef pulled out a chair for her, and when she sat down, he introduced us. This is Mr. Barton, the father of the owner here. I stood up as she sat, then sat down again and extended my hand to her. Barnes, please, I said. No, mister. She laughed, a low musical laugh, and I wanted to hear it again. You can call me Nita, she said. Her deliciously accented English was flawless, and her voice was low for a woman, a little husky, but smooth like velvet. It looks like you already ordered, I said, noticing the glass that looked like sangria. I didn't have a reservation, she said. Thomas usually finds a seat for me, but today I didn't want to sit at the bar. There's someone I want to avoid. I didn't understand, but it didn't matter. I'm glad that person isn't here, I said, because it means I can look at you and listen to you talk. You're safe with me, I added with a smile. My mission in life is to protect beautiful ladies from annoying guests. She actually blushed, the color touching her cheeks, and I couldn't help but smile. I'm very glad to have such a gallant defender, she said, laughing again, and I got goosebumps. Do you often dine here? I asked. Yes, she said. Like Thomas said, my daughter owns this place. And although I can cook, it's just me, so I come here. Ah, beautiful Beck, she said, her voice softening. I love her very much. She and I are becoming friends. Is that true? I asked, genuinely happy to hear that. Well, I'm glad to hear she's making friends, I said. Do you live nearby? Yes, she said. I have a house near the Qley River. I live there most of the time, but also in Loach. You obviously live nearby. I laughed. Well, yes, I'm pretty mobile, Nita. I have 5 acres nearby with a couple of buildings, but I also have a truck and a camper. I have wandering legs now and like to be able to leave at a moment's notice. I understand, she said, nodding. Did you recently move here from the US like Beck? Yes, I said. I've been here about a year. I arrived before Beck. She came to visit, fell in love with this place, and bought this hotel. What brings you here? She asked, curiosity in her eyes. At first it was fishing, I explained, and that's still the case. I had the opportunity to sell my business in the States and satisfy my desire to travel. What kind of business did you have? She asked. She hesitated, then said, I'm sorry, it's none of my business. I laughed. Don't worry, I don't mind. I made parts for companies like Caterpillar, John Deere, and others. Ah, the tycoon of industry, she said, smiling at me with a radiant smile. The whiteness of her teeth illuminated her beautiful brown skin. Hardly, I said, chuckling. But I'm permanently retired now. I'm not, she said. I could, but I want to do something. What exactly? I asked, curious. I deal in illegal substances, she said, in a quiet voice. her words taking me by surprise. She laughed softly. Not really. I own a pharmaceutical company. We supply medicines to the Mexican Social Security Institute. Wow, that's impressive, I said. I didn't expect that. That's why I also live in Lazam, she said. She looked at me thoughtfully. Maybe I should retire too and be like Barnes. What do you say? Free legs and fantasies. I laughed. Footloose and fancy-free, I said, smiling. Yes, she said. I didn't know how to say it in English. You speak excellent English, I said. I speak Spanish, but you speak better than me. Would you like to know what my business is here? She asked, her eyes twinkling. I'd like to know what you do, I replied, intrigued. I have many hectares of land along the river and several horses, but most of all cattle, she said. What breed? I asked, intrigued. I have registered Gelbvi breed cattle, she replied. Do you know them? I asked, half joking. Well, I don't know them personally, she said, causing her to burst out laughing. But I've heard of them. I laughed too. Barnes, you are very funny, she said, pulling herself together. I should introduce you to some of them personally to correct this deficiency in your acquaintances. It was my turn to laugh. I didn't giggle, giggles are indecent for men, but I had a good laugh. Nita was a very funny woman. I have to ask, I said. And you may say it's none of my business, but is there a Mr. V? No, she replied, her expression becoming distant. There was once, but no longer. He worked in the petrochemical industry. There was an explosion, and he got hit. Oh my God! I'm so sorry, Nita, I said, regretting my curiosity. No, that's acceptable, she said after a moment. It was 11 years ago. I remember. But the good times stay with me. I nodded. Yes. The pain of losing loved ones fades over time, and you begin to remember the good things. What about you, Barnes? She asked. The beautiful Beck. Apparently, she has a mother? Yes, I said, a hint of sadness creeping into my voice. And I have another daughter, Sylvia, who's 3 years older than Beck. I took out my phone and showed her a picture of Sylvia. Oh, she is very beautiful, Nita said, smiling. Does she live here? No, I said. She lives in the States, next to her mother. My wife and I divorced almost 2 years ago. Is this a sensitive topic for you? She asked. It was, I said, but it gets easier with time. We wanted different things. She wanted an open relationship, sleeping with other people. I'm not like that. I'm really sorry to hear about this, Nita said, her tone soft. Well, that's life, I said, giving a rueful smile. Listen, Nita, would you like to go out to dinner with me? Maybe next weekend. I would love to, she said, but then she paused. But not next weekend. I have to leave for Loach the day after tomorrow and won't be back until next Tuesday. Maybe Friday after you get back? I suggested. That sounds perfect, she said, smiling. Can I get your number? I'll make a reservation and send you a time. Okay, she said. Give me your phone. She entered her number into my contact list. Maybe when you pick me up, I'll introduce you to some cows. She giggled at her own joke. I walked her to the car. It was a new BMW Z4, silver and cool. I walked around it and admired the car before opening the door for her. She kissed me on the cheek, and it felt like an electric shock. You were a very charming dinner companion, Barnes, she said. Thank you for letting me join you. Believe me, the pleasure was all mine, I said, still a little breathless. I don't know how I'll wait until dinner to see you again. You have my number, she said, smiling. Call me late in the evening. It's best. I'll definitely call. I promised, watching as she drove away. God, what an exquisite woman. She agreed to meet with me and I felt like I was flying, walking on clouds. I walked back inside to say goodbye to Beck, who was staying at a hotel. I knocked on her door, and she opened it, looking excited. "Did you like her?" she asked without holding back. "Isn't she fab? She's so cute too. Dad, did you ask her out?" "You sly one." I hugged her and spanked her playfully. "You arranged this, didn't you?" I said with a grin. She giggled in her mischievous voice. "I did it. I'm done," I said, feigning exasperation. "You are a very bad girl." "Well done," she teased. "God, how did you persuade her to do this?" "She loves me," Beck said, with a mischievous smile. "I told her about you, and you were just made for each other." "Did you invite her?" I asked. "I invited you," she said. "She's leaving for a week, but on Friday, after she returns, she said she'd go to dinner with you." "By the way," Beck added, "you'll need to arrange transportation other than a truck." "You can take my car," she offered. "Thanks, Beck," I said. "It's good for a short time, but I'll have to get my own eventually." The next day, I wrote to Nita. "It's as if two evil women are conspiring against me." She sent me a series of hearts and emojis. "Yes, I won't resist," she replied, followed by more emojis. "My own daughter," I texted. "I can't wait for our date." She replied with more emojis, and the anticipation built. Every day seemed like an eternity. I hadn't felt this way since I was in high school, waiting for my first date with the girl I had a crush on. I remembered my conversation with Collins about wanting all that excitement, the bright colors, and the feeling of anticipation. Strange, but I found it now. I wondered if Collins found it too. I texted Nita once a day. She replied 2 or 3 times, sometimes skipping a day, and we talked on the phone twice. It was a new experience for me. We switched between Spanish and English. She told me about her day, and it was so easy to communicate with her, as if we had been friends for a long time. She told me when she would return, and the excitement only built. I drove up to the cabin in a truck, borrowing Beck's car. I didn't mind driving a truck with a camper, but it felt a bit awkward for a first date. Following the directions on my phone, I made my way along the river. The road wound through sparse houses, and soon the phone told me to turn onto a paved driveway. I found myself blocked by a gate. I couldn't see the house, but I noticed the call button on the numeric keypad. I pressed it and waited. "Hey, is that you, Barnes?" It was Nita's voice. "Yes, your companion has arrived," I said, a smile creeping onto my face. She laughed. "I'm very pleased with your arrival and feel that you'll be a delightful companion. I'll show you around." The gate opened, and I pulled into a long driveway, about 2 miles, with various branches, leaving me to wonder if I was lost. When I finally saw the house, I was stunned. It was a huge, spacious mansion perched high on a cliff, overlooking the river. The view was breathtaking. I rang the doorbell, and a minute later, a young girl opened the door. She looked about 12 or 13 and was absolutely gorgeous. Behind her stood an older woman. The girl extended her hand and said, "Welcome, Mr. Barnes. I'm Pia. Nita is my mother. You'll invite her to dinner, right?" "I'm very glad to meet you, Pia," I said in Spanish. "You look just like your mother. Beautiful." She blushed with the same warmth I'd seen in Nita. "Yes, I speak English better than French," she replied. "I'm sure you're good at all of them," I said. "I'd like to invite your mom to dinner. You don't mind?" Pia gave me a critical look. "How can I say? You look very good for a mature person." I laughed. "You're flattering me, and I'm not old." She giggled just like her mother. "It's very bad, isn't it?" Besides, you're Beck's father, and I love her very much. It's the same thing. Exactly, I said. Pia took my hand in hers, leading me through the entrance into a large, open space. It looked like a living room and dining room with a kitchen visible in the back. Busy, she said, introducing me to an older woman. Nice to meet you, I said. She's my friend and takes care of me when Mom is away, Pia explained. Mom is getting ready. Would you like something to drink, Mr. Barnes? While we wait, what do you have? I asked. I'm drinking lemonade, she said. We also have juice and adult beverages. Lemonade sounds great, I said. And please call me Barnes. Just Barnes. She laughed, her huge, dark brown eyes sparkling. That seems like a really weird name, I chuckled. You're lovely, and a jokester too. Yes, she giggled. I like to laugh. We'll drink our lemonade on the back porch. Busy, I'll go pour it, she said, laughing again. Stay here. Go with your guest, Pia. Don't neglect him, said Busy. It's okay, I said. I'll go with Pia so she won't feel left out. We grabbed tall glasses of cold lemonade and carried them into the living room. The entire south wall was glass, and Pia led me outside, still holding my hand. We stepped onto the veranda and down the stairs to a large mahogany terrace. Large, leaf-shaped fans slowly spun above, suspended from vine-covered beams. The view across the river and valley was spectacular. I really like it here, Pia said. Me too, I said as we sat in the chairs. I've only met your mother once. For some reason, Pia didn't mention her mother much. Maybe she was embarrassed by such an impressive daughter. She doesn't tell anyone about me, Pia said. Afraid they'll love me more than her. We both laughed. Busy appeared with lemonade in hand. Thank you, Pia said. We both said bye at the same time, which made Pia giggle again. I see you're one of those people who can guess thoughts, Pia said. I am, I said. Everyone around me is wearing tin foil hats. I think we have a few, she said, teasing. Should I warn Mom? She asked. No need, I said. I need to know what she thinks so I can make her happy by fulfilling her wishes. Pia tilted her head, thinking. It's a good plan, she said. You've got it down to a science. Well, this is my first date in years, I admitted. I need to make the most of it. Say, Pia said, I want to chat with you more, but don't you think Mom will be ready soon? She really likes to impress. I'm sure she'll be here soon, I said. At that moment, I heard a deep, husky voice, reminiscent of smoky jazz clubs and red wine. We turned around, and there she was, Nita, standing on the top steps. God, she was stunning. Nita's dress was stunning, reaching down to mid-thigh. Sleeveless, it revealed her smooth brown skin at the top and bottom. Her feet were gorgeous, adorned with platform dance sandals that wrapped around her calves. She wore a wide-brimmed white hat and posed with striking elegance. Pia snapped me out of my daze. You look very beautiful, Mom, she said, looking at Nita. Don't you agree, Barnes? I had to clear my throat before answering. Yes, I definitely agree. You're amazing, I said. Nita smiled. I see you've met my beautiful daughter. Yes, and she is, I said, turning to Pia. It was wonderful meeting you. I hope we can see each other many more times. You're a charming lady. I finished my lemonade and walked over to offer my hand to Nita. Why didn't you ever mention you have such a lovely daughter? I wanted it to be a surprise, she replied. Once you met her, I thought you couldn't help but fall in love with her. I know how much you love your daughters, and I wanted you to love mine. She's my life. I understand that, I said, nodding. The restaurant was just as good as I'd heard. 3 doors down was a place called the Amparo Salon. It was an experience, with a stage where the biggest mariachi band I'd ever seen played. The place was alive with color and music, and I danced with Nita. It was an adventure in itself because she was the best dancer I'd ever encountered. She made it hard for me to even keep up. She knew everything, from traditional Mexican dances to salsa and tango. The last number was slow and sweet, and holding this fiery beauty in my arms was a moment I could have only dreamed of. The drive back to her house felt almost automatic. I was in a world where only she and I existed. It ended at her door, where she kissed me. That moment was the highlight of my life. Before leaving, she invited me to come back and spend the day with her and Pia the following Saturday. She even let me take a photo to send to Beck. On Tuesday afternoon, Sylvia called me. "Dad, when's a good time for me to talk to you and Beck on FaceTime?" she asked. "How about 8 o'clock in the evening?" I suggested. "I'll be at her house by then, and she should be free. Could you ask her and send me a picture?" Sylvia added. "I can do that," I said. "Is something wrong, dear?" "No, not really. There's nothing wrong. You don't need to worry. I just need to talk to you guys. I need to talk to you all the time." I chuckled. "Send me the picture. Love you, kid." "Love you too, Dad." Later that night, Beck and I were sitting in her living room when we got the FaceTime notification. After the usual conversation, Sylvia got to the point. "Dad, Beck, I feel bad here without you guys. I'm tired of dating fools, as you lightly call my boyfriends. I hate my job, and my mom makes me miserable when I'm around her. I want to come to you." "That's great, Sylvia," Beck said. "Do you think you can find a job?" "I think I've already done that," she replied. "I'm going to buy a travel agency that books cabins on the lake. I'm booking your spot too." "Wow, you really studied this, didn't you?" I said. "Yes," Sylvia said. "I've already got everything figured out." Beck smiled. "I wish you were here. I know Dad would too." "Are you sure, honey?" I asked. "Of course," she said. "I wanted to talk to you guys first in case you didn't want me, but I've made up my mind." She sobbed a little, and it broke my heart. "I'm really sorry I made you doubt this," I said. "I love you, Sylvia. I'll always want to see you no matter what." "I know," Sylvia said. "I kind of thought about Mom," Beck said. "I love you too," Sylvia replied. "You're my older sister. You spanked Jamie Mayer because he picked on me in first grade." Beck laughed. "I did, didn't I? He was a jerk." "When do you think you'll have everything together?" I asked. "It might take me a month or 2, Sylvia said. "I've already moved on. It's exciting." "I can't wait," Beck said. We chatted for another hour, and it seemed the decision was made. As I sat in the camper that night, I thought about my life. It felt like I was moving from one level to the next. Coming here, meeting Nita, who I hoped would become a big part of my life, and now Sylvia planning to move in. It couldn't have been better. On Friday, I asked Nita if she wanted me to bring anything. Beck told me to make pico de gallo. "Very well," Nita said. "Bring it." I went to the market, bought fresh ingredients, and prepared a big bowl. We took the truck to Nita's on Saturday. I wondered what she and Pia would think about this. They obviously didn't live in poverty, and neither did I. It wasn't like I couldn't afford a house, but it was my choice and I loved it. Still, what would they think? When we arrived, Pia ran outside to greet us. Pia rushed to Beck as soon as she came out. She walked around a little more reserved with me, but still gave me a hug. "We're going to the river," she said. "Mom's preparing everything for a taco picnic." "Delicious," Beck agreed. "Let's go inside," Pia said. "Mom and Busy are collecting things." She took both of us by the hand and led us inside. We walked into the kitchen, where several coolers and baskets were lined up on the bar counter. Nita and Busy were busy putting plastic bowls and plates into baskets and drinks into coolers. We helped, and soon everything was ready. Barnes brought his truck, Pia said. This will be perfect for our trip. I couldn't help but laugh at how she phrased it. What a charming girl. We loaded everything up, and Beck and Pia climbed into the back seat. Nita sat down next to me, and we drove along the road, turning where she pointed. It's good you're with us, I said. I'd never find my way back from here. She laughed. There are a lot of places to go, she said. We have buildings for different functions along these roads. What buildings? Asked Beck. Stables, equipment sheds, warehouses, cattle sheds, corrals, etc. Nita explained. We pulled up to the river, where a gazebo and dock stood with 3 jet skis raised out of the water. There were 2 picnic tables under the gazebo and a grill. I was planning on heating up the food on the grill, Nita said. But since you brought your own, can we use your stove? Of course, I said. All the comforts of home in a small package. I'd really like to see the inside, Pia said. I've never been inside a house like this. I'll give you a tour, I said. We heated the tacos in the oven, and I showed Pia around the camper. She lay on my bed, sat in all the chairs, and checked out every device. She and Beck carried some of our things to the tables, and I took the moment to drag Nita away for a kiss. Hello, beautiful, I whispered. I couldn't wait to be alone with you. She laughed. Well, it's nice to know you wanted it. Me too, she whispered back. Beck and Pia returned, and we prepared our late lunch. Everyone complimented my pico de gallo, and it was all delicious. We sat and chatted for about an hour before Pia asked if we wanted to go jet skiing. The girls went to change into shorts and t-shirts. Pia came out first and chatted with me while I inspected the system that raised and lowered the jet skis. Beck and Nita joined us, and I went to change into my swimming trunks. When I got outside, 1 jet ski was already in the water, and we quickly lowered the other 2. Can I come with you, Barnes? Pia asked. With pleasure, I said. You don't control them, I manage. Maybe we can switch later, and I'll go with your mom, Pia suggested, and Beck and Nita removed their covers. I froze for a moment. I knew Nita was stunning, but I wasn't entirely prepared to see her in a bikini. It wasn't the latest fashion, but she looked incredible. Beck would always be small, charming, and elfish, while Nita was curvaceous, but not in the plump sense. She was far from fat, but had hips, a narrow waist, and large breasts. She noticed my gaze and blushed, crossing her arms over her chest. Ready? She asked. We were ready, and Pia climbed onto the jet ski with me. I noticed that the jet ski I'd been given had 30 more horsepower and was longer. We let Nita lead the way as I assumed she knew the river. We must have traveled upstream for about 5 miles. We drove under a bridge and rounded a bend before Nita slowed down. She pointed to a small cliff to the east, and we slowly approached it. There was a path up the cliff, and as I looked in the direction she was pointing, I saw a rope fastened high in a tree. We turned off the engines. Would you like to swing on a rope? She asked. Pia practically jumped up and down behind me. Yes, we should. It's so fun. You'll swing high above the river, then let go and fall. The water is really deep. It looked a bit suspicious, but I decided to give it a try. Beck was clearly excited. Nita stood knee-deep in the water, holding the jet skis while we made our way up the cliff. Who wants to go first? I asked. Beck has to go, Pia decided. I've already been, Beck said. I want to watch. Beck grabbed the bar woven into the rope. Hold on, honey, I told her. She nodded and rushed forward with a scream. It was the biggest swing I'd ever seen. I'm not sure how far it went, but at its highest point it must have been about 15 feet. She fell and disappeared from sight, then surfaced, threw her hair back to clear her eyes of water, and swam back to Nita. "Oh God, Dad, that was amazing," she shouted. I decided that Pia should go next. She soared up like a small bird, twisting into a dive mid-air. She was an incredibly agile athlete. I swam like an otter, and she and Beck held the jet skis while Nita climbed up to join me. I let her go, and she was as graceful as ever, letting out a cute squeal as she took off. Now it's my turn," I said. Looking down was 3 times scarier than looking up, and my inner chicken was screaming at me. I couldn't let a 12-year-old girl show me how to be a coward, so I pushed myself off the cliff. I swooped down the rope, swinging up from the bottom. I was longer than the girls, so my feet barely touched the water before I flew up. I almost forgot to let go of the rope, but I collected my thoughts just in time and plunged into the cool depths. It was exhilarating. Nita and I sat on the jet ski and watched as Beck and Pia went 3 more times. Pia decided to take control of one of the jet skis while Nita sat next to me. It didn't bother me at all that her arms were wrapped around me from behind. We returned, pulled the jet skis out of the water, and sat in the sun, holding cold drinks and enjoying the race. As the evening came, we got ready and headed back to the house. We thanked them for a wonderful day, and Beck and I headed home. "How are you feeling, Dad?" she asked. "Pretty good. A little tired," I replied. "Something about the combination of sun and water makes you tired. Is that true?" She nodded but then said, "That's not what I meant. I'm talking about Nita and Pia." I sighed. "Well, Pia is a little doll. It's impossible not to love her. And Nita, I have feelings that I never knew could arise again. She makes me happy just by being around me. She's so damn beautiful, Beck. You know this, but she's so much more than just pretty. She's a wonderful, warm person. She's funny, smart, and obviously a great mother. She's independent. She's everything a man could want. I definitely want her, and it seems like she feels the same way too." Beck smiled. "She told me she thinks you're the one, the only one." I laughed. "Yes, just make sure it's you." Beck chuckled. "It wasn't in vain that I tried. Don't ruin everything." "I'll do my best," I said. "Thank you, Beck. Now, how about you take care of yourself, too? You need love in your life, too." "Yeah, I'll have to start working on that," she said. "I've just been a little busy with work, but I'm keeping my eyes open." I hugged my daughter and drove home. Nita and I started meeting 3 times a week. I took Pia fishing and joined them on jet skis. I took her on a business trip and even to a celebration. I fell in love with this girl just like I did with my own daughters. By the time 4 months had passed, I was completely in love with Nita. When we were together, I was happier than I'd ever been in my life. When we were apart, thoughts of her filled my head, and she invaded my dreams. Every minute we were apart, I missed her. We texted constantly, and she started using Snapchat. Each message came with a photo of her. We kissed at the end of every date, and I wanted her in every way. I was very careful with her. This little lady was special, and I wanted every step to be perfect. Beck loved her, and Sylvia, when she visited, fell in love with her too. The 4 of them, Nita, Pia, Beck, and Sylvia, were constantly doing something together. Sometimes with me, sometimes just the girls. On Monday, I sent a snap to Nita and said I would like to go to Qley with her for the weekend. She called me immediately. "Is it true? I've never been there, but I've heard it's beautiful." "As Mayan ruins?" I told her I would meet her there, and we'd fly from there. "What about Pia?" she asked. "Is this just for the 2 of us, or do you have a plan for her?" "I plan to take her with me," I said. I was going to ask if Beck and Sylvia could come, Make it a family event of sorts. There was a moment of silence before Nita spoke. Barnes, I'm very touched that you consider Pia and me family. You're a very nice person. I would really like that, and I hope Sylvia and Beck can come. They love my daughter very much. I know they love you very much, I said. They love Pia too. Do you love me very much too? She asked. I was a little stunned but quickly regained my composure. Nita, I want to tell you this in person, not over the phone. Okay, she said softly. Yes, I understand. Sorry for asking you over the phone. Go to Chalin, and I'll ask you again in person, I said, laughing. I understand that. I won't get away from this. I checked the flights, and one left at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Can you leave by then? I'll organize it, she said. I can. Drive carefully, I said. It turned out that Sylvia and Beck were able to go, and Pia was over the moon when I told her. We packed up and went on a long drive. Turned out to be one of the best road trips of my life. Pia sat in the back with Beck, acting as our official DJ. We took turns picking songs, though I didn't much like their choices. They sighed and rolled their eyes when I picked mine. We picked Nita up at her condo and drove the truck to the airport. There were no issues, and we flew smoothly on friendly wings. Chalin was everything Sylvia promised, and I was pleased to see that she knew her stuff as a travel agent. She'd arranged one of those all-inclusive packages. Our hotel was on the beach and the height of luxury. We spent time at the beach on Saturday, swimming in the blue water and going to an open-air restaurant in the evening. Beck and Sylvia decided they wanted to take Pia to a beach party and said she'd be spending the night in their room. They left, and Nita and I were alone. As we walked back to the hotel, I pulled her towards me and hugged her. Well, this is not suspicious at all, I teased. I think you're right, she laughed. Do you mind? If you don't mind, I do like it, I said. I took her to my room and made us drinks. Nita, you asked me if I love you. I want to tell you that I love you more than I could ever imagine. From the moment I met you, I thought of little else but you. You filled my heart, my thoughts, my life. I love you very much. She raised her head, looking into my eyes, her deep, almost black eyes filled with fire and emotion. It makes me very happy, she said. I love you, Barnes. I didn't know if I could ever love again after Amano died. I grieved for so long, but now I have you, and you've captured my heart. I felt emotions overwhelming me and kissed her again. You have my heart, she said. I want to give you everything else too. Oh God, Nita, I said. From the first time I saw you, I wanted this. You are the most gorgeous, cute, and sensual woman I've ever met. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm not scared, she said. The only terrible thing would be if you didn't love me, if you didn't want me. Am I crazy? I smiled. I'd be crazy if I didn't love you and want you. God, Nita, never doubt it. You're the most desirable woman I've ever seen. I can't believe there aren't thousands of men standing at your gates, trying to find a way to approach you every day. She laughed. I don't need thousands of men, just one. We made love. The next morning, I woke up to someone knocking on the door. Come back with a warrant, I shouted, still half asleep. Women's giggles echoed from the hallway. Dad, let us in. It was Beck. I hastily threw on a robe, and Nita covered herself with a blanket. All three girls rushed in, pushing a cart full of breakfast in front of them. They left the cart, and Beck and Sylvia rushed to the bed, throwing themselves at Nita, laughing and talking like crazy. I sat down in a chair, and Pia came and sat on my lap, her arms around my neck, her wavy dark hair above us. You love her, right? She asked. Yes, I love you too, I said, hugging her tightly. I love you, she said. I knew you loved us. "Mom loves you," I asked her, and she told me, "I want to be your daughter, like Beck and Sylvia." Tears of happiness and love rolled down my cheeks, like a river, and I held her tightly. "I'm honored that you treat me this way," I said. "I will try very hard to be everything you want me to be." "Will you marry Mom?" she asked. "So we can be a real family." I looked at Nita and the girls, all looking at me expectantly. "You know, there's nothing I want more than anything in the world," I said. "But I think I should talk to your mother about it, just the two of us. I'm not ready at the moment." I leaned over and whispered to Pia, "I don't have a ring." She smiled. "Ah, I understand." We had breakfast, then hurried to catch the shuttle to the Mayan ruins. They were impressive and inspiring. We flew back on Monday morning, tired but happy, with indelible memories. We dropped Nita off. She still had 2 more days of work. I took the girls ring shopping with me. The shops there were mostly small, with jewelers who made their own pieces. We found an older gentleman from the cabin who made exquisite jewelry. He had a large collection of stones, one of which was a brilliant red-orange fire opal that all the girls loved. "I don't think this will be a good engagement ring," I joked. "We need diamonds." "No," Pia said. "Mom would love that. She finds diamonds tasteless." We all laughed. "Almost the same thing," Sylvia said. "Did she really say tasteless?" "Yes, several times," Pia said. "See, Dad? She'll love it." Beck insisted, and I let them talk me into it. We compromised by adding 4 little diamonds around the fire opal. The jeweler said he could have it ready in 2 weeks and send it to me. Once I received it, all I had to do was choose the time and place. I told Nita that I wanted to return to the little gazebo by the river. I think she knew what I was planning. We took her ATV, and it was a wonderful evening. Pia was very curious, and when I told her what I was doing, she had to rush to her room to avoid revealing it out of excitement. I knelt in the gazebo, and when Nita noticed, her hand flew to her mouth. I took her hand and said, "Nita, I'm not good at speeches, but I love you with all my heart. I never want to live without you and without Pia in my life. Will you marry me? I will do everything in my power to make sure you never regret saying yes." I opened the box, and she extended her hand. I placed the ring on her finger, and she said, "Yes, Barnes, I so want to be your wife. I want to love you always." She raised her hand, admiring the ring. "I can't believe I have a fire opal," she said. "A little bird told me," I said. "I think I know this little bird," she replied, her eyes filling with tears of happiness. When we got home, Pia was waiting for us. She flitted excitedly between us. "I can't believe this. You'll be my father, Barnes." Suddenly, she burst into tears. I knelt down and hugged her slender figure. "I thought it would make you happy, baby," I said. She pressed herself close to me. "Yeah, I just hoped. I thought we'd never find anyone. You found me," I told her. "I will never let you go, Pia." She clung to me, sobbing for a few minutes while I held her. Then, she turned and walked away. "It's so cool," she said. "I laugh," I said. "You spend too much time with Beck. You're starting to sound like her." She giggled. "She teaches me a lot of good words." We set the wedding date for December 5th, and I was the happiest man in the world when Nita walked down the aisle in her gold dress. She said she'd already worn white, and since it was something new, she was breaking tradition. I moved in with her, but she insisted we keep the camper. "We might want to go on a long vacation," she said. "Okay, we'll use it," I promised. I removed it from the truck and placed it on stands. We used the truck around the house, and it was much more convenient without the camper. I don't remember ever being happier. The only hiccup came when Sylvia came to me in the second year of our marriage and said she needed to talk. We sat on the terrace, and she gathered her courage. "Mom wants to come visit," she said. I sighed. "Well, I thought it would happen sooner or later. When is she coming?" "She wants to come for Christmas," she said. "Sylvia, what do you want?" I asked. She hesitated before answering. "I wanted to spend Christmas here with you. I know Beck will be staying here and I was going to stay too. Now I'll have to spend at least part of the time with my mom. Beck won't be there, so I'll have to be alone with her. I still love her, Dad. I'm sorry if this disappoints you, but I remember who she was. Everything she did for me and what we did together." I pulled her toward me and hugged her. "I know you do. I'm not disappointed at all. I'm proud of you," I said. She cried a little and I held her. "Everything will be fine. I know this isn't what you wanted, but that's the way it is. You can tell your mother that you already have plans for Christmas dinner. She'll have to deal with it. It's her fault, not yours." "It's difficult," she said. "I'll have to deal with this. I just wanted you to know. What if she wants to talk to you or see you?" "Let me talk to Nita," I said. "She's smarter than me. Let's see what she says." Sylvia spent the rest of the day with us, and we had dinner together before she left. Nita was in Los Mackay for 2 more days, and I raised the issue when she returned. We sat on the sofa, looking at the fire in the fireplace. I told her about Sylvia's visit and the news. She silently looked into the fire for several minutes. "How do you feel about meeting her, Barnes?" she asked. I asked myself that question. I guess it was inevitable. She's the girl's mother, and I guess sooner or later she would want to see them. I don't really have feelings for her, Nita. I don't think about her. I loved her for many years. We had many good moments, but they were all somehow overshadowed by the way it ended. She snuggled against my side and rested her cheek on my hand. "I want to meet her, Barnes," Nita said, "to find out what she's really like." "Is it true?" I asked, a little hesitant. "Yes," she replied. "She was part of your life for many years. She was part of Sylvia and Beck's life. I'd like to meet her in person." This made me nervous. Nita was an independent person, and she often made me nervous with her confidence and decisiveness. But I knew she always acted with purpose, and I respected her for it. When Collins arrived, she stayed at Beck's lodge, so I saw less of the girls than usual. I assumed they were spending time with her. Nita met with Collins, and if there were any clashes, they weren't mentioned. I asked Nita what she thought. "I like her," she said. "Is it true?" I asked again, wanting to understand. "Yes," Nita replied. "I think she's changed a lot." Sylvia and Beck agree. She's become more self-reflective, more introspective. She was very nice to me. "Well, that's good, isn't it?" I asked. "I think so," she said. "We were talking about you." "God, I hope you weren't listening," I joked. She laughed. "Of course I was listening. I wanted to know about you. She didn't say anything bad about you, only good things." I snorted. "I wouldn't count on it." She smiled. "Well, she certainly didn't admire your inflexibility." "I see," I said. "Well, apparently it didn't do any harm. You're still here with me." "No harm," she said. "I adore you, Barnes. That will never change." Pia came in and snuggled up to us, and I hugged both of my dark princesses. 2 days before Christmas, it rained heavily, and the river turned into a torrent. I had to save the dock by lifting it 3 times throughout the night. The water took away 2 sections of our fence. I got up early on Christmas morning and helped one of the workers fix the fences. We finished around noon. I expected Sylvia and Beck to have already arrived. We planned to open gifts after lunch, and packages were already piling up under the tree. I returned to the house, took a shower, and changed clothes. When I was ready, I went to look for the girls, but they were nowhere to be found, even though Sylvia's car was there. I prepared a jug of rum punch and a jug of spice cider, put them on the heater, and drank a glass of rum punch. The perfect Christmas drink, I thought. I heard voices outside, and the door opened. Pia ran inside and took her place next to me. Davy came in, laid down at our feet, sighed with pleasure, and fell asleep, snoring his approval. "It smells good," Pia said. "What is this?" "It's rum punch," I replied. "Can I try?" she asked. I gave her a taste, and she made a cute little face. "Ugh," she said. "It smells much better than it tastes." I laughed. "It's an acquired taste, dear. I also made spice cider. Grab a cup." She took the cup, and then Beck came in. She also mentioned the smell but seemed to like the rum punch. Sylvia came in behind her, and then I was taken aback when Nita walked in, arm in arm with Collins. They both saw my gaze, and Nita quickly approached me. "Don't be mad, Barnes." Collins had nowhere to go. No one should be alone on Christmas, so I called and invited her. I wasn't completely angry, but I wasn't happy either. Nita picked me up and led me to Collins. "Collins wants to talk to you," she said. "Take her to the office," I said. I led Collins to the counter and offered her cider or punch. She grabbed a cup of hot cider, and we went into the office. Nita, Pia, and I had chairs, and I sat in mine while Collins took Nita's place. "You look good, Barnes," she said. "Thanks. You too," I replied. She actually looked great. She seemed to have lost some weight, though she didn't need to. "I need to apologize to you, Barnes," she said. "I was insert appropriate word, and I know it. I only thought about myself and what I wanted. I know I disrespected you, and it had consequences I'll have to live with for the rest of my life. I need you to forgive me. I know I don't deserve it, but I hope you're still the man I met and married, and that you'll give me what I don't deserve." I collected my thoughts. "I'm not going to make a big speech," I told her. There were consequences, and one of them was freeing me up to find what I have now. I was destroyed, embittered, and wounded, but not anymore. "I know I was," she said, "and I'm so sorry I caused that pain." I took a deep breath, sipping my punch. "I forgive you. You met Nita and Pia. That little girl is dear to me. Collins, Sylvia, and Beck love her, and she's their little sister. They love Nita too, and she's become a kind of big sister to them. You'll always be their mother, Collins, and you can always come here." Nita nodded. "That's fine, Collins. The girls say you've changed. I hope you'll live happily, and if you can accept it, I'll think about you. Good. Can we be friends?" "We'll see," I said. "Just don't start with your nonsense." She laughed. "No, I won't. You're on your feet, Barnes. I'm still looking for mine." Nita knocked on the door. "We're ready for dinner," she said. We sat down at a large table. Pia said a prayer, and the air was filled with laughter and the sounds of happy voices. I looked across the table at Nita, who smiled at me and winked. Pia gave pieces of food to Davy, who adored her like an altar. My daughters kept talking, and Collins was lively, seeming to enjoy the company. It looked like it was going to be a good Christmas. Thank you for your viewing. See you next time.